Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Hybrid Budgets. This video is me going through my June budget going forward for 2024. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. I never know what to say on the introductions. It's always a bit awkward. So I'm going to do my May close down first, basically see how I did over the May period. I'm going to start setting up for June and then also do my June budget. So first of all, let me see if you can actually see. I'll zoom in ever so slightly. Right, and I'll lift this up as well. So we started off pretty strong with quite a good salary. This was because I was living away, so they do like a top-up allowance on top of my original salary as well. Also, I hadn't put as much pension contribution in, so I had quite a good salary there, so that was good. I had £1,299, or I planned that I'd have about £1,299 carried over. And then sinking fund, zero. Other payments, I didn't expect any, so I put zero in for that. What I actually had for a salary was slightly more, because I had some more expenses that came in. Carryover, I had 1,174, so just slightly less, but not too much of a bother. And then other payments, I had £100 in from my dad because I bought my cousin a phone case, and I had £20 from my partner to cover some of the bills. Mortgage as expected, life insurance as expected, nationwide account, all as expected here. Sorry, I can't remember where we are because my partner just got up and did the biggest groan in pain because we've been to the gym yesterday. Anyway, so these ones, sorry, were all as expected. E-mobile is quite a bit more. I think I'm coming towards the end of my contract and they've just decided to put the price up, which is really annoying. So I'm looking at doing a SIM only. Obviously this is quite a lot, but I was paying for all the phone, whereas now this is out of contract, I can obviously just do like a £10-15 a month. Council tax was a lot more, purely because, so my partner moved in January. It took a while for them to put him on the system, or there was no like easy way to like add it to the form. We ended up like emailing them several times. Anyway, he's now added. This is the backdate payment from January now up to May, and then I think going forward it's £156, so I can budget that for next month. Monzo account fee as expected. These ones as expected. Remarkable isn't coming out, so I do need to look at the billing on this one, because I've actually got like an annual for this one as well, so I need to check how much that is. So this is some cloud storage that links to my digital notepad, so I need it and it's quite useful. It's very useful, but yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that. I'm wondering if they've billed me for the year rather than monthly, so that one didn't come out. Vanguard, yeah, 50-50, so 50 for investment, 50 for emergency fund. Great Ormond Street, yeah, again, we chucked on the National Lottery, so it's not fixed, it's miscellaneous, but I didn't have room in my variable. And then, yeah, so these were all what I'd budgeted for, but actually these were the minimum payment of, looking that you can't see. So that all came to 1,670 as opposed to 1,556, but because I had the additional income, that covered it fine, so I was still left with 4,200. Sorry, I need to keep on checking on the camera because I'm obviously not putting it on right. I changed this one because I had like, oh, it was so frustrating. It was one of these subscriptions that I wasn't aware of, and I had it, and it was a coding course, and it randomly came up, and I swear I'd like looked through everything, but because it came through PayPal, it wasn't on any of my like standing orders, which is annoying. So I put it in to include it, but actually it's not coming out this month, so I'm making sure I include it next month. But yeah, really annoying. I tried to cancel it and they were like, no, it's a subscription service, which I completely get, but also very frustrating. So definitely look out for any of those ones because you don't want those to catch you out. Virgin Atlantic, I budgeted 160 and that was left over from last month's payment, so I made sure I included that. So when we did the budget, I think originally I had put in £750 on it, and then we made sure I made sure that I had enough left over to cover that one, so that is covered. But actually that only came down to £106. So what I've done with that, an extra 150, I've added it to the credit card payment at the end, so I'll show you that. Monzo Flex came out to be 400. I budgeted 450. It was actually £447, but I paid an extra £100 purely because when I added all the Monzo transfer payments together, I got it as 1,420, and actually it was only 1,320. So I accidentally put in an extra £100 into the account. No issue. I saw it and I was like, oh, I might as well pay that to the Flex rather than keep it in my Nationwide. Food got 250, eating out got 250, home improvement got 150, hair beauty got 100, and hobbies and entertainment got 100. I've just put a note here in terms of, so they all got that amount, however, I just want to see where they're up to currently in the account. So I spent like 186 on this one, I spent £5.60 out this one, etc. So it's just sort of giving a tot up of where they are up to for my own purposes and tracking. Emergency fund, so this is a bit of a weird one. So I did the review of my debts and my breakdown of my debts, and I looked at these and I thought these were actually quite generous amounts considering the pots themselves aren't in too much of a bad state. So I actually decided I'm not going to put anything in these. I'm going to overpay on this debt, overpayment, purely because I looked at it in terms of when the promotional period ends, and this one's coming up, and I really want to, I say this one, the MBNA is coming up, and I really want to make sure that one gets paid off. So I thought, you know what, rather than putting the stuff into like savings, I really need to sort of try and lower that debt now. Mum and dad, so my dad gave me £100 for the phone case, so it just made sense to put that into their pot. So I've created a new pot now. Sorry, that's why I've not filled it in. So I'm going to put that directly into their pot to start chipping away at the debt I sort of owe them. Water bill, got it's £21, that was all fine. And then, as I mentioned, because this bill here, I expect it to be 1,160. They actually only billed me 1,006. So the amount's still on that card. So what I've done is just made sure that 150 gets covered, and then I've got another £200 that I budgeted for fuel and parking. So I'm basically making sure I've got £550 left over for next month. So hopefully that all makes sense. As a result though, I've actually got £1,175.34 left over for next month. So what I'm going to do here is allocate where additional these can go, because I think it would be useful if next month's pay is going to be slightly less. I want to just make sure I've got enough in the pots, especially as I'm trying to hammer down the debt. I would just want to make sure I've definitely got enough in it. What I had included is my IC subs, so that's going to be quite a bigger bill for next year, next month. Moving on, I've got my final account starting balance. I'm actually going to do my starting balance after I've done the budget, because what I found out last time was, this is May, right? I did the transfer, and then obviously spending it throughout the month, it came to £5.89, whereas actually what I'm going to do is say, okay, well, I started the month with 250 because I transferred that 250 over, and now this is the amount I've got left, and do that going forward, I think. And then I can write little notes on what I've, used where. I think it will track a lot easier than doing this. I've also got to get out some of the ones that aren't moving at all, like the £1.9, the £10.70. I'm not adding to them, they won't be moving much, so I just thought actually I'll just, for the sake of having what's the number of lines, I'm not going to bother with that. Also, my clothes, hair and beauty, I've decided to merge pots with them. So I'm just, merged those two accounts together, so that's fine. I don't think there's anything too major to comment on these. They're the two lots of additional payments, so that will go down now to 2,175 rather than 3,200, so I think that's really useful and really good. Well, so looking into the month of June, what have we got coming up? Payday, I'm actually recording this on Thursday, payday's on the 31st. So we're going to the caravan. I'm just about to set off. I'm under the cuff filming this because my partner wants to go. Sort of as I mentioned last month, I'm going to put activities in blue. Any standing fixed payments I'm going to put in black, and then anything that's like going to come up in green, I guess. So like, I know for instance I've got parking when I go into the office on Monday, Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I'm going to allocate that £15. Yeah, so I'm just trying to work it out in terms of what I've got coming up in the month, so hopefully I can show that in the budget. So caravan in Wales, we're staying at my partner's mum's caravan, so that doesn't cost us anything. Safari Park next week, my mum got Tesco vouchers, or she had a leftover Tesco voucher, so actually that's not costing us anything, which is really good. I've got my niece's christenings coming up there, so we don't need to plan food or anything. We're staying at my friend's house on the Saturday, so we don't need to pay for accommodation, which is good. However, going to Wales and going up, so my brother lives up north, that's going to be a fuel top up. I've got a hen do. I'm not driving up there, so I don't need to worry about that too much, but again, it'll be going out, drinking, etc., so I need to probably budget a bit more on eating out. And then we've got the weekend going to Woolacombe with my family. Payday obviously comes in then, but it's just useful to know that it's coming up, so a bit of a jam-packed month, to be honest. But again, there'll be eating out costs here, so it's just useful to know what's coming up. Parking, like I said, so I've got 3 lots of £15 every month, and then I think I'm going to have 3 fuel top-ups this month, so I'm thinking there'll be one after Wales, one before we go up north, and probably one at the end of the month as well. So I'm saying I probably need to budget about £360 on the credit card, because I only use my credit card for parking and fuel, basically anything that's like a work expense. Just because the way it claims back like a month afterwards, so it's quite useful to put on a credit card knowing that that payment's coming out the month afterwards, but I still like to budget it in the budget. Hi everyone, sorry we had to move because we ended up going to the caravan, so I couldn't finish off the budget really. So what we've got here is we went through the May budget, and I basically ended up with £1,175.34. So with the excess stuff, I paid off an additional £500 to debt over extra payment, and then I think on the previous one I split it slightly differently, so I just wanted to go over the difference in the split. So I added £25 to Christmas, £40 to eating out, £30 to health, hair and beauty, and £30 to hobbies. So moving on to June's budget. And again, I hope you can see this okay. I'm going to have to definitely make sure I get all this in. So June, salary wise, I'm at £3,200. I don't think I've got an additional mobility payment coming in. I might have one just to finish it off, purely because some of my expenses slipped over into the next month, because it was like I was in one project over May, and then started in another project, so I think they carry it on for another month. But you know what, I'm just going to budget this £3,200. If it does come in, I'm just going to pay it off to debt, so I'm not too conscious, to be honest, about that. So I'm going to budget worst case, and then if best case happens, I mean, brilliant. Carryover, so I had 550 from the Nationwide account, which is as sort of indicated on the previous week, because I've budgeted that for the credit card, so that'll essentially be paying off the credit card. I've got £26.79 in my Monzo current account, and that's probably just from where I rounded up the value and transferred over to Monzo to put in the pots. So or it was before I even started some of these videos, so that's where that one's come from. Sinking funds, I'm not planning on getting any money out of that, so that's coming in at zero. I have £120 coming in from my gran in cash, to basically take myself, my partner and my friend out for a meal, and his partner. So basically we recorded my granddad's funeral and did like a tribute video and some other stuff for my gran, and she wanted to say thank you, and I said no, like I don't want any money for it, like it's honestly, it's our pleasure to do it. So my friend recorded it when he was at the funeral, and then I did all the editing, like post edits. And she said, no, like, obviously want to, and do you know what grands are like shoving it out the door. But she basically put in an envelope and said, this is to take you and Johnny out for a meal and with your partners, which is really lovely of her. But I wouldn't have accepted it if I knew it was cash. But also, like, what was it going to be? A gift card, so, or like a voucher or something. So anyway, I'm going to use that. We're going up to see them on Saturday, as I went through on the calendar. So that's what that allowance is going to be for. £20 from my partner to cover some of the bills and expenses. So in all, that comes to £3,916.79. Mortgage is, again, as per usual, £950. I think I might change this just so I've got more money to go to my debt overpayment, because as per my financial game plan, I would need to pay down the higher interest debts first and then work on the ones that are less than 7%. And this, I think I fixed it at 4.9. So really, like, I am overpaying with this amount at the minute. So I'm just actually going to do like the minimum amount my mortgage requires, which is the standard fee. So that can go down quite a bit, and then I can put that towards my budget. Specifically just for debt overpayments though, so that should go down by £150, I think. Life insurance the same, £14, £13 on the account fee for Nationwide. E-mobile 51, so I need to look at this because I really do think this one can come down. I want to get a SIM only plan because I've had my phone, it's just due to be out of contract, but it was £40, it's gone up to 45 and then went up to 51, and it's ridiculous now, so I can definitely get that one down. House insurance 26, council tax is 155, so this has gone up, but this is because I don't have the 25% sole occupancy discount added, or deducted should I say. So that one's 155, and Monzo account fee is £5. I put a tick because I've already transferred the money over and I just wanted to log which ones I'd already transferred. Microsoft £2, Audible £10, Remarkable £3. Again, I need to see if this one comes out and look at the budgeting on this one because it didn't come out last month, but I just, again, want to keep it included just so I've got a bit of a buffer there. Vanguard £50, so that's investments. Emergency fund £50, so that's a direct debit to my first account, which is at a higher percentage interest, that's fine. Great Ormond Street Hospital, got a direct debit with them, so that's £10. These figures here, so previously I did them as a budget, this budgeted amount, and then whatever the minimum payment was came out, so I always had a bit of buffer in my Nationwide. But what I'm actually doing is I'm going to fix these to these set amounts. The MBNA one might change ever so slightly because I'm overpaying that one at the minute, so I don't think they actually take out the minimum if you've overpaid more than the minimum. But at least if I budget that 120, that can obviously straight away go to the 120 on MBNA, if that makes sense. And then anything extra over, I'll budget separately. So all of that comes to £1,604. So if I do 391679 minus 1604 is £2,312.79. Moving on to the next page. So I've got a PayPal, or well, it's Halifax through PayPal. I've got a £130 payment. This is the one I was on about last month, which really annoyed me. It was a non-subscription to a training course on data, which I am literally doing through work, so it does seem a bit daft now. But it does have good online resources. They basically said I couldn't cancel it. It's a subscription service and I should have known to cancel it, which I guess is fair enough, but it just annoys because it's so much money. So yeah, I'm going to have to budget that in, which is really annoying, but I have cancelled it now, so that one won't come out again, which is really good. Virgin Atlantic, 560, so that's sort of what I budgeted last month, and I've got the carryover for that one. So that's fine. I think I put 550, but I've put 560, I think, just in case for roundups. Monzo Flex, so this is the last payment. I budgeted in 300 and transferred over 300. But I'll show you on my account review. I don't actually think it's that much at all. I think it's more like 250, but I'll double check that. Food, joint account, so straight away that goes out. I take that from my personal Monzo. Well, what I do is I usually have my Nationwide, which my salary gets in. I count up all the things that are going to Monzo, which are the green ticks. They get transferred. It goes in at the beginning of every month, or in this case the 31st, which is when I did it. similar with eating out, so that's the £120 my gran has given us, so I've just basically said that's going straight in there for eating out. I haven't added these ones up yet. I'm going to come back to these and work out everything else first, so I know then what I can divvy up, because these are all the variable and these are the sinking funds, and I think I need to get through all the variable fixed items first and then work it out. So just for the minute I will top that up. So that's 130 plus 560 plus 300 plus 250 plus 120 is 1,360, and then I'll obviously do the plus when I've got it. So 1,360. Then I'm going to briefly skip over this one just for the moment, then go to these ones. So these are my annual expenses. So what I had messed up last month and what I hadn't realised is, obviously I'd mentioned that I do have quite a few annual expenses that come out in January, and obviously what you're meant to do is break them down month by month, so you've not then got the annual cost in one hit. Obviously it would mean like in January potentially an extra £150, £250 etc. would go out. So I was obviously doing it with the water bill, which is good. ICE subscription, that is my Institute for Chartered Engineers subscription. It is a well, they've recently made it into an expense, so I can pay for it and claim it back through the company, which is really good. But it's still £250 all at once, and the way it works is, so I put it on my credit card last month, but again the payroll system, if it's not necessarily in the next month, you know what I mean, you can get a bit squeaky bum time basically. So I thought, oh, you know what, I'll break that one down, pay that monthly. Same with the other annual. So I've got Ring yearly, I've got Google One, which is like storage account. In fact, I'm updating that one so I can have more space, because obviously I'm doing a lot more videos now on my phone. NutriCheck I'm actually going to get rid of, and there was another one as well. I think it was like Money Hub or something, which I don't use anymore. So I'm going to get rid of those. So, but what I worked out is they're about £100 for those. So again, divvying up, bear in mind we're in June now, so that works about £15 a month up until January. So I've set, excuse me, I put my teeth in. I set up a new pot for other annuals. I've set up a new pot for ICE subs, and obviously I've got my water bill pot, so they're new ones added in. They come to £557. And then fuel and parking. So as I went through my calendar, I thought I'd need about 3 top-ups or 4 top-ups on fuel. So let me just double check. That's 4 times 45. Yeah, is 180. And 3 top-ups on... Oh, I've got those mixed up. Parking is 4 times £45 per week, so that's 180, and 3 top-ups on fuel, and again I estimate that as about £180, so therefore I'm going to make sure I've got £360 carried over. Right, I hope this is all making sense. So in order to budget, those are the, like I say, variable fixed ones. So I'm just making sure this is tilted the right way. She tilts it and then tilts the book back. Well done. So once all my fix was done, I had £2,312.79. Then I'm going to deduct this 1,360 first. Then I'm going to deduct nothing off here, then do the 57 because I know I have to put that in, and then this 360. So that leaves me £535.79 to basically split between hair, beauty, health, hobbies and entertainment, emergency fund, extra overpayment, debt extra overpayment, holiday, Christmas, gifts, mum and dad, etc. So that's the way I like to budget, to make sure the balance sheet works out. Obviously people might have different ideas. Again, these ones I have as they're pots, but they have a virtual card attached to them. This is why I put them in my variable, because these are the ones I deem that will go up and down the most. Although I'm saying this, I think I'm going to take out my home improvement from this and put it as a sinking fund, purely because I was doing like monthly home improvements, but I've not really done much now. I'm doing a bit of painting here and there, a bit of stuff here and there. So actually it's more of a sinking fund now rather than a variable pot, because it's variable should be stuff you're doing monthly, but it varies on how much you're putting in. So actually that can come out as a sinking fund because I'm not putting anything in it. I don't think I will be for a while because I've not got much coming out. So yeah, what I'm going to do, so bear in mind I've got £535.79 left. I'm just going to quickly squiz to my starting balance sheet. So I filled this all in. So this is what was in the accounts after I added the top-ups in the end of June. So like I say, my home improvement one, for instance, has got £186 in. So unless I'm starting a big project, like I don't think I'll spend that much. I say this, every time I go into B&Q, I spend about £100 because I don't know what I pick up, but I find stuff. But anyway, so that's staying at zero. I really don't need to add anything else to that. I'm looking over, obviously I'll be putting in, let me just add this in a different colour, eating out. I'm obviously adding the 120 anyway. And then our, our joint account. I always add my 250, so that's going in anyway. This I've just basically indicated if that £1,000 does come in, I'll add it straight away. Question mark. If it doesn't, I potentially then might need to adjust what I'm going to spend each month for it. But to be fair, I overpaid quite a bit on it last month, so it's not too drama if it doesn't come in. If it does, what I might do is at the end of the month, if I've still got balances left in these accounts, just take them out and put them towards that debt there. So I'm just scrolling down here. Clothes, Hair and Beauty's got £35.60. I'm actually going to add some money to that one purely because this one is, I've put Clothes, Hair and Beauty. It's also, I'm going to make it clear and say this is health. So I did actually put notes down here. It would make sense to go through them. So first direct regular saver, that's £400. That gets its £50 direct debit each month. So I expect that will go up to £450. So that's a savings. Start to Save ISA is my extra emergency fund payment. It's at £419. I think because I've got a particularly bigger salary this month, and next month I think it will go down to £2,800. I'm not going to put anything in this one yet. I'm going to use it to make these ones a bit more cushy because I think next month I won't have as much disposable to make those as big, if that makes sense. And anyway, like I say, this one goes up £50 each month anyway, so those two are combined of what my emergency fund is currently. Yeah, health I'm definitely going to add. So what I've worked out is it's £57 per month for our personal trainer. So really, as a minimum, I really need to be adding that in. So I'm just going to add that in now as a minimum. I'm going to do 60 just so it's a bit easier. Gifts and birthday. So it's the boy's birthday, so my nephew's birthday on the 13th, and it's my niece's christenings on that same weekend, so it's going to be a really busy weekend. I need to check what they need or like how we're doing it for them. So I'm gonna, you know what, I'm just gonna add £100 there because I do feel like, especially because it's a christening, I should give them quite a bit. So as I'm going along, I'm just gonna minus 60 minus 100. That's £375 left. I'm going to look over. So I've put for holiday, save for August or October holiday. July's been paid for, so we're going away with my partner's family in July, and we've already paid that one off. I say that one off, it's only like 2 nights stay at a hotel because we're going back down to Wales again for that, so that'd be nice. But August, October time, we did say while he's on her half term because he's a teacher, it would be nice to go away. So and currently I've only got £65 in for holiday, so I think it might be worth adding something in there. But that's a bit of a nice to have, and we've got no actual plans for it at the minute, so I don't think I'm going to add anything to that one. Christmas, £75. I've said the goal amount for that wants to be 1,000, so you know what, I'm going to add £25 in just so it's round. So again, I'm just minusing £25, so that's £350. Monzo Home Improvement, I'm not going to add anything this month because I just don't think, oh god, what am I doing with my pens? We don't need anything else on that. Hobbies and interests, I've got nothing coming up this next month, as in I've got a lot coming up, so as a result we've got no need to spend in hobbies and interests. So that one's okay. I might, again, just for my OCD, add £15 to that, just so it's nice and round. Mum and Dad, 105. So that was basically, my dad transferred me over £100 last month because I bought a phone case for my mum's cousin, and set up not a phone case, a phone. I had an old phone and I bought a phone case. So my old phone, I said, oh, it's about, put it on for 80 quid, and then the case came to about 20 because it was like a personalised one for her. So he transferred over that. I transferred over £5 anyway when I set the pot up. This one, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just saying any extra in the Monzo I'll put to Mum and Dad. So that one I'll leave as is. I'm not going to add anything extra to that. Again, what am I doing? Let me just take the lids off these because I'm getting myself in a tiz. So I'm going to do 0 at the start of the month, and then if I add anything I can put it in as a note. Water bill gets its own anyway. Monzo General, that's budgeted for. That's budgeted for. Monzo Flex. So this is it. So this isn't minus 220. So I think there will be an additional £80 because I think I've budgeted 300 in, or I'm going to transfer 300 over to my Monzo, which I've already done. So I will have an £80 extra spare. So I think that will either go to Mum and Dad or I'll put it somewhere else. These ones are separate anyway. So what I'm going to do is I am going to leave that one as it stands. How much have I got left? £335. I am going to say I'm going to leave 150 as an EO to debt, and then I'm going to make sure, but I'm going to do that at the end of the month, or depending on if this money comes in, and then 185 left. So I think realistically where I'm going to put it is eating out. You know what, I'm going to put a bit more in there because that's from my gran for specifically taking out Johnny and Matt. However, I do have a hen do, so I'm going to make sure I've got enough for eating, drinking and whatnot there. So if I do the 85 there, it seems like a lot, but again I think that would be nice to have a bit, that pot quite cushy. And then I'm going to do another 50 here and another 50 here as well for holiday to try and get something in. So that makes the 185 there. Brill. So if I just transfer those over to the budget, that should then work out. So if I do that then, so I'm saying for hair, beauty, health, I want to transfer over 60 plus 50, so 110. Hobbies and entertainment, 15. So that's an additional £125 to there. So that's 1360 plus 125 is 1485 from 2312. 2312. 79 is £827.79. I'm saying I'm not going to put any in the emergency fund this month because, to be fair, it's ticking away in itself and there shouldn't really be a need for emergency coming up. I know that's not the way I should think about it, but I'm also like conscious I want to get these quite high, so I've got a bit of padding on them. Debt extra over, I'm saying I'm going to put 150 over, but I'm also going to put an asterisk. I'll just write up here the 1k if comes in. Holiday, what did I say for holiday? £50. Christmas, £125. Gifts. There's a few bit going into there, wasn't there, for the boys and the girls. Mum and Dad, I'm going to budget £0, but I think that 300 I've transferred, I'm just going to probably put that 80 over, but just so I know what's happened, I'll probably end up putting actual as 220 and then actual down as 80, just so I can track it. So that comes to 150, so 225, £325. From 800, so plus 325 is £500, or 502.79. Then plus 57 is £445.79. Oh, I've obviously done something wrong there because I've got extra here, but that's not too much of a worry. I'll double check my calcs. But yeah, anyway, so then therefore we've got £445.79 left over, and that'll basically cover the credit card for next month, which will be the Virgin Atlantic one. Sorry, I just realised you couldn't see that. So yeah, that comes to £445. That will cover the Virgin Atlantic one for next month. So you know what, I'm going to just maybe pre-populate that one if I can see it. No, I'll do it later. To make sure that one goes over. Bro, so that's the budget for the rest of June. I might do a check-in for this one. Sorry, it's been a bit confusing because I don't know if this additional payment's going to come in. So if it does come in, that's like £1,000, so I can put it straight onto this payment. The reason I've got it is because I put a lot of my work expenses on my Monzo Flex, which is what I'm paying off now. So I have sort of been paying it down. So now when this 100k comes, 100k, I wish. Now this 1k comes in, it's like not free money. This is me talking pure girl math. But it's money that I've not allocated anywhere. So it would be quite good if I can then, therefore, put it towards the debt. So that'd be great. And then, if I can pay that extra 150 and the extra 120, I think that pays off next month's requirement for the debt as well, because I think when I worked it out, it was like £800 a month before the promotional period ends. So, I mean, that would be absolutely fabulous if I can get that done this month. It means I'm ahead a month, and that can be £800 I can pay, hopefully, to one of these. So, yeah, I'm doing, quite well at the minute. Obviously, it's because I've got quite a reasonable salary. But yeah, I think we've been quite frugal in our holidays and stuff this year. Like potentially might have an abroad one, but we'll see how this goes, eh? But yeah, hopefully that all makes sense to everyone. So what I'm going to do now, just off camera, so you're aware. So I've already transferred over these ones with the ticks. What I do need to do is sum up how much needs to go to my Monzo. So realistically, if you were doing this as cash stuffing, I would say that these are the figures, like the amount of money you'd get out of your account to put into cash stuffing. So for instance, I'm saying I want £21 a month to go in my water bill wallet, £15 a month to go in my annual wallet, and £21 to go into ICE. Similar here, I'd put £150 in a separate wallet, £50 in holiday, £25, etc. Oh, the one thing I will do by the end of this video is I'll just go to my savings challenges, because I haven't done these in a while. So I'll start off with emergency fund. So what we've said is we've got another £50 going in this month, which just goes to as the direct debit, so that's fine. We've not got to the emergency fund part 2, so that's fine. Mortgage, I'll need to work that one out before I cross it off, but I think with what I'm doing with the 150, I've overpaid on it, but I'll double check that, because again, I'm not convinced it's going to be £9.50 this month, because I've gone in and I've changed the fixed amount. I just need to double check it's fixing this month or is it next month that it will drop down. So I'm just going to budget £9.50 for this month. So if I do overpay, I'll take it off the savings challenge. If I don't overpay and it's the other amount, obviously I've got that saved, and again that can go towards debt, which would be useful. Investments, £50, so that can get coloured in. Oh, holiday, where are we up to? Holiday 50. Do we have a 50? No, so I'll just colour in a 20. A 20. There's 10. Fab. Christmas, I've put in £25. So, you know what, I'm going to do a present. A present and a little bit of holly. There we go. I should have really coloured that in green, shouldn't I? I need to get the felt tip pens that are erasable in case I need to erase stuff. What are my other ones I've got? And I think that is everything for saving goals. Oh, and I've got the penny savings challenge, but I've not really started that yet. But when I do, I'll go through that. And I think if I do this £671.61, again will go to debt, or it will go maybe to Christmas actually. That might be a nice one, but we'll see how it goes with all the debt stuff next. But yeah, hopefully that's all made sense, and hopefully I've not confused you too much. So as I was saying, sorry, these ones I still need to transfer over. I'm going to put a big circle so I know I need to do these ones. Like I say, these would be your pots that you would cash stuff. So in all, I've got 110 plus 15 plus 100, and you know what? That's not one to transfer because that will go directly to the credit card. So 50 plus 25 plus 100. So that's £300 I need to put towards Monzo. And that can go in all the pots. I would show you what it looks like on my phone, but obviously it's a personal account, and also I'm using the phone to record. But yeah, so basically I'll just transfer these into their various pots. Brilliant. Well, I hope that made sense, and hope you managed to follow along. And yeah, good luck for the rest of June, everyone. Bye. Just to edit an update, I realised I hadn't added in the 85 I said I would be putting into eating out, so I've added all of that in, followed it through, and that's why it's now at 360. I think before it was slightly more than that, and I was like, oh, I don't know why, but that is why. So what I need to do is make sure I transfer 385 to Monzo and allocate these ones per pots. Another little update, when I was looking at it, I was like, well, if this is now 220, I will make sure the £80 goes, so I'm doing £50 to my mum and dad, and then the extra £30 I've put into gifts, so that's why that one's come to 130. So I just thought I'd make that clear for this month.